Hey, Mark's watching MTC Media here. Welcome to another episode of Full Court DMV. And we want to start this episode with George Mason postgame. George Mason wins tonight 99-81 over Cornell. Mason is 9-0. Cornell is 5-3. Snapped their 5-game winning streak. For the Patriots, Malik Presley had 17. Corey Missy and Jahari Long had 16 apiece. One of the most impressive things is that George Mason has 6 players in double digits. Now, the second half was a game of runs. Mason was up by 2 at halftime, and it was a game of runs. Mason in the second half had a 12-0 run to push the lead to 66-52, and a 9-0 run to push the lead to 82-64, kind of blowing it away. The Patriots shot 71% in the second half. They were 22 of 31 from the floor, 6 of 9 from three. And just think, Mason isn't completely healthy yet. Fat Hill has been back for 4 days. Braden O'Connor still isn't back. So the Patriots, just in time for the conference schedule, they have a chance to even get better. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit about George Washington. This is Marcus Washington with Full Court DMV.
Hey, this is Marcus Washington over here at MTC Media and Communications. I know that you know me from all of my sports coverage, especially college basketball, but MTC Media and Communications is so much more than just sports coverage. We provide UX UI services, content management, data analytics, accessibility, Section 508, website management, content creation, and so much more. So be sure that you hit us up with all of your needs so we can provide you a top-notch service that you deserve.
Hey, welcome back. The Revolutionaries lost 2 of 3 in one of those holiday tournaments, but they got on the track with a win over Army. A road win on top of that was played like 11 o'clock in the morning. It's one of those things where the kids were out of school. It's like education day. So it's one of those early games. Rafael Castro had 16 points and 7 rebounds. Garrett Johnson had 14 points and 9 rebounds. And George Washington was coming off that loss to Murray State, where Javon Jackson went. I don't want to use the word race because then it's going to be a terrible pun. But he raced the floor in 1.2 seconds and got a layup at the end. And one of the things that I might have a little bit of concern about with George Washington right now is defensively. They've given up 90 plus points. They gave up 96 to Murray State. They gave up 92 to McNeese. That was also a loss. And that this team just really needs to get better and hunkered in defensively, getting into the A10, because this is going to be a hard conference just to think that I'm going to outscore teams. And I've seen Dayton. I saw Dayton up close. Obviously, I just came back from Florida. They have defeated Georgetown. They really pressed a BYU late into the second half. You know, I also saw Richmond down at Disney. They are solid as always. Obviously I've named the VCU. St. Bonaventure was a pain in North Carolina's butt. So you have these teams in the A10. So George Washington defensively needs to get better. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit about Georgetown. It's Marcus Washington, MTC Media.
This is Marcus Washington from MTC Media Sports. You know all of our coverage. We're from college basketball to the NFL to boxing to Major League Baseball. You name the sport, we cover it. So I get asked the question all the time, where can we get that information? And I always say, follow us on social media. Here is our social media spots. It will point you to all of our information. And look, man, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button on Substack. Give us a little love. We always appreciate all the feedback and support that you give us.
Welcome back here, Full Court DMV. Georgetown is looking to break a 2-game losing streak when they face UMBC Wednesday night at 8 o'clock in one of the worst starting times you can ever have down at Cap One. And right now, Georgetown is still dealing with the loss of Vince Iwuchukwu. That is a big loss in the middle. And I know every team and every coach talks about next man up, but Vince's loss is more than just in the paint. You have to defend different. The offenses run a little different. He was great on the boards. He was a great guy if you're running zoom action for the oop to the basket. There's a lot of things that Vince did that made things easier for someone else. And so replacing that takes a little bit of time. The coaching staff is working on it. It's a great coaching staff. So you know they will figure it out. They will still score points. And to be frank with you, they're a little stung after those two losses. I think they're maybe getting back to refocusing and getting back to hunkering in on the details. Georgetown's had a problem with slow starts. They had two slow starts down there in Florida where they were down by double digits before you could, before condensation was building up on your drink. So it's certainly fixing that. And once they got started in both those games in the second half, I mean, they look like a team that is going to be hard to beat. But they have to take that out. And UMBC is just one of these teams, they're going to shoot threes, they're going to push the ball. And it's just one of these situations where Georgetown needs to set the tone because Sunday they go to Chapel Hill to face the University of North Carolina. Thank you for joining us on the latest episode of Full Court DMV. This is Marcus Washington, MTC Media.